The twin suns of Nerilos hung low on the horizon, their angry red light casting long shadows across the crystalline desert. Cashin Stormrider adjusted his breathing mask against the harsh atmosphere as he trudged through the glittering sand. Each step sent shimmering dust clouds into the air, remnants of an ancient meteor impact that had seeded this world with precious minerals. The weight of his past pressed down heavier than the atmospheric pressure. The scar that ran from his left shoulder to his chest throbbed with phantom pain, a constant reminder of betrayal. Stormrider was a name earned during the hyperspace campaign, but now it felt like an epitaph for the man he used to be. Sararin Township appeared on the horizon like a mirage of civilization. The gateway to the Astrana dynasty's domain, it represented Cass's last chance for work, food, and hopefully, a ticket off this planet. The settlement sprawled beneath massive atmospheric domes, their translucent surfaces pulsing with energy fields that kept the lethal environment at bay. A scream pierced the desert stillness. Cass's military instincts kicked in as he spotted movement near a rock formation. A young man was cornered by a pack of diamond-fanged sandcats, their crystalline teeth glinting menacingly in the dying light. Without conscious thought, Cass drew his plasma blade, its familiar hum sending a surge of adrenaline through his veins. The lead sandcat leaped, but Cass was faster. His blade caught the creature mid-jump, bisecting it in a shower of sparks. The others circled warily as he positioned himself between them and their prey. 3 more sandcats attacked simultaneously, but years of training hadn't abandoned him. He dispatched 2 with precise strikes, while the third fell to his boot knife thrown with deadly accuracy. "Are you injured?" Cass asked the teenager, who was pressed against the red rock face. "No, thanks to you." The young man straightened, adjusting his red and gold uniform. "I'm Anika, Royal Guard of House Astrana. Who are you?" "Just a drifter looking for work." Anika studied him with knowing eyes. "That fighting style. You're military. Come with me. The house is always seeking skilled warriors." The walk to Sararin gave Cass time to reconsider, but hunger and necessity overruled caution. The city's outer gates loomed before them, a marvel of ancient engineering and modern technology fused together. Guards in matching red and gold uniforms checked their credentials before letting them pass. Inside, Sararin buzzed with activity. Markets lined the streets, selling everything from bioengineered foods to quantum processors. Towering above it all was the Citadel of Winds, seat of House Astrana's power. Anika led him through crowded streets to a training yard near the Citadel's base. "Wait here," Anika instructed. "I'll fetch someone to assess your skills." Cass didn't wait long. A young woman strode into the yard, her presence commanding despite her slight frame. Her dark hair was cropped short, and her eyes crackled with barely contained energy. She wore combat armor unlike anything he'd seen, embedded with what appeared to be bioelectric circuitry. "So you're the stray Anika brought in," she said, her voice carrying the confidence of royalty. "I'm Kita Astrana, and before my sisters waste time evaluating you." She paused, a challenge in her eyes. "My sisters think you're too weak for us. Prove them wrong tonight." Cass felt his spine stiffen. "I'm not here for games, Lady Astrana. This isn't a game. It's tradition." Kita circled him like a predator. 3 trials, 1 for each sister. Pass them all, and you join our elite. Fail. She smiled. "Well, failing tends to be permanent." Anika reappeared at the yard's edge, his expression grave. "If you refuse, you'll be escorted out and banned from employment in Sararin. If you accept but fail, don't leave anything intact," Kita finished cheerfully. Cass weighed his options. Pride warred with pragmatism, but the growl of his empty stomach made the decision. "Fine. What's first?" Kita's smile widened. "The trial of body." "My trial." We start at sundown. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting Sararin into twilight, Cass found himself in a circular arena carved into bedrock. Ancient runes lined the walls, glowing faintly with stored energy. Spectators filled the stands, mostly off-duty guards and curious citizens. The rules are simple, Kita announced from her observation platform. Survive. A gate ground open, and a monstrous shape emerged. The double-maned scorpion was as large as a small shuttle, its two distinctive manes of bristling hair framing a segmented body. Twin stingers dripped with venom that sizzled where it touched the sand. The creature struck with terrible speed. Cass rolled aside, feeling the wind of its passing. His plasma blade seemed pitifully small against the creature's chitinous armor. The scorpion's pincers snapped where he'd been standing, crushing stone like powder. Memories flooded his mind unbidden. The betrayal, his wingman's ship turning to fire on his position, the searing pain of his crash. Anger surged through him, hot and cleansing. He dodged another strike, analyzing the creature's movements with cold clarity. Each attack revealed a pattern. The scorpion favored its right stinger, but protected its left flank poorly. Cass drew it into overextending with a feigned stumble. When the creature lunged, he sidestepped and buried his blade deep into the joint between segments. The scorpion shrieked, whirling to catch him with its pincer. Pain exploded across his ribs as he flew backward. He tasted blood but rolled to his feet, ignoring his body's protests. The creature charged again, but this time he was ready. Cass sprinted at the wall, using momentum to run partway up before launching himself onto the scorpion's back. Clinging to its mane, he avoided the thrashing stingers and drove his blade repeatedly into the creature's neural cluster. The double-maned scorpion convulsed, shuddered, and finally collapsed. As medical drones approached, Cass slid off the carcass. His vision swam, but he remained standing, meeting Kita's appraising gaze. Not bad, she admitted, electricity crackling between her fingers. You're more stubborn than you look. But this was just the beginning. Dawn found Cass in the Royal Library, deep within Mount Cremora. Selena Estrana, the middle sister, greeted him with clinical interest. Where Kita radiated energy, Selena exuded calculating intelligence. Her laboratory coat was pristine, her dark hair pulled back severely. "Welcome to my domain," she said, gesturing at rows of ancient books and holographic displays. "For the trial of mind, you'll navigate the labyrinth of illusions." She led him to a chamber dominated by a crystalline structure. Neural interface cables snaked across the floor. "This technology reads your thoughts and manifests them as reality," Selena explained. "Those who fail become trapped in their own nightmares. Forever." Cass allowed technicians to attach the interfaces to his temples. The world dissolved into chaos. He was back on the battlefield, his squadron burning around him. Laser fire scorched past his cockpit as friendly transponders turned hostile. His wingman's voice crackled over comms. "Nothing personal, Storm Rider. Orders are orders." The betrayal cut deeper than any weapon. Cass forced himself to remember it was an illusion, but the simulation felt too real. Guilt crashed over him. Why hadn't he seen it coming? How many died because he trusted the wrong people? A voice penetrated the nightmare. "Interesting. You blame yourself for their treachery." Selena appeared beside him in the simulation, her form translucent. "Most warriors struggle with fear or anger. You wrestle with misplaced guilt." "Get out of my head," Cass growled. "I'm not just watching, I'm learning." Her eyes gleamed. "The device in your scar. Did you know it was there?" His hand flew to his chest, feeling the familiar raised tissue. "Neural enhancement technology," she continued. "Dormant but functional. Someone marked you special, Cashin Stormrider." The revelation shook him, breaking the illusion's hold. Reality reassembled itself as he grasped the truth. His past wasn't just betrayal, it was manipulation on a deeper level. Selena watched him emerge from the interface chair. "You're the first to break free without assistance." "Most curious." "What's in my scar?" he demanded. "A quantum neural enhancer. Military grade, highly illegal. It could amplify your abilities exponentially, but..." She hesitated. "Activation risks permanent neural degradation." Cass processed this information, another piece of his fragmented past clicking into place. "Why tell me?" "Because the final trial may require you to choose between power and survival." Selena's expression softened slightly. And because I find you intriguing. The trial of heart took place in the moonlit hanging gardens, where exotic plants drew energy from a crystalline meteor fragment. Avena Astrana, eldest of the sisters, waited among glowing flowers. Where Kita was fierce and Selena analytical, Avena radiated serene authority. And comforting. You've isolated yourself so long, you've forgotten what it means to belong. Her words struck true. Cass felt walls crumbling, defenses he'd built over years of loneliness. For the first time since his betrayal, he considered staying somewhere, building something lasting. I don't know if I'm capable anymore, he admitted. Avena touched his scarred chest. The heart remembers what the mind forgets. You could have a place here with us. Before he could respond, alarms shattered the garden's tranquility. Emergency broadcasts filled the air. An alien fleet had breached planetary defenses. The invaders bore familiar markings, remnants of the faction that betrayed him. They found me, Cass realized. Avena's expression hardened. Then help us stop them. The sisters convened in the Citadel's war room, their differences set aside in the face of external threat. Kita radiated deadly energy. Selena coordinated defense grids, while Avena commanded with natural authority. Their technology matches reports from the hyperspace campaign, Selena reported. They're targeting civilian sectors. We have minutes before they breach the outer shield, Kita added. Cass studied the tactical display. They'll expect standard planetary defenses. But if we lure them into the Cremora Valley, the magnetic fields would disrupt their systems, Selena finished. Brilliant, but dangerous. I can lead them there, Cass offered. They want me. Use that. Avena met his gaze. This isn't your burden alone. It is if it saves your world. He touched his scar. Besides, I have an advantage. Understanding dawned on Selena's face. The enhancer, but the risks, are mine to take. The battle raged across Naralos's skies. Cass piloted a borrowed fighter, deliberately broadcasting his identity. The enemy fleet took the bait, pursuing him toward Mount Cremora. His scar burned as he initiated the enhancement sequence. Power flooded his system. Time seemed to slow as his reflexes accelerated beyond human limits. He wove through enemy fire with impossible precision, leading them into the magnetic anomaly. Ships faltered and fell as their systems failed. Cass pressed the attack, his enhanced abilities allowing him to anticipate and counter every move. But warning signals flashed across his vision, neural pathways approaching critical overload. Pull back, Avena's voice commanded over comms. We have them contained. Not yet, Cass gritted out. Pushing harder, one enemy cruiser remained operational, charging weapons for a strike on Sararin. His vision tunneled as he dove toward the cruiser. Override warnings screamed in his head, but he held course. At the last second, he ejected a plasma charge into their main reactor and veered away. The explosion lit up the sky. Victory achieved, Cass's systems finally gave out. His fighter spiraled downward as consciousness faded. He awoke in the Citadel's medical bay, the three sisters surrounding his bed. Diagnostic screens showed his neural pathways hanging by threads. You're an idiot, Kita declared, but her tone held respect. A fascinating idiot, Selena corrected, studying his readouts. We barely stabilized you in time. Avena took his hand. You proved more than strength today. You showed true courage. Did we win? Cass asked weakly. Thanks to you, Avena confirmed. The invasion force is destroyed. Naralos is safe. As his strength returned, the sisters explained their intervention. They'd combined Selena's scientific expertise, Kita's bioelectric abilities, and Avena's ancient healing arts to repair his damaged neural pathways. You're not just stabilized, Selena explained. You're evolved. The enhancement is now part of you, controllable rather than destructive. Kita grinned. Guess my sisters were wrong about you being too weak. We all were, Avena admitted. You've earned more than a place in our guard. You've earned a place in our family. Standing on the Citadel's balcony days later, watching Naralos's twin suns set, Cass felt something he'd thought lost forever, belonging. The sisters stood beside him, each having found something in him that complemented their own nature. What now? He asked. Now we prepare, Alvena replied. The attack was just a probe. Greater threats remain in the void. Together, Cass questioned. Kita sparked electricity between her fingers. Think you can handle 3 Astranas permanently? Selena adjusted her datapad. Statistically, his odds are favorable. Alvena smiled warmly. My sisters thought you were too weak. You've proven them. And me, so very wrong. Looking at the 3 remarkable women who'd tested him, challenged him, and ultimately saved him, Cass realized he wasn't just staying for duty or necessity. He was staying because, against all odds, he'd found a new family among the stars. As darkness fell over Sararin, the former lone soldier began planning a future he'd never dared imagine. The trials had ended, but his greatest adventure was just beginning. Together with the Astrana sisters, he would face whatever challenges the universe had in store. The twin suns would rise again tomorrow, and for the first time in years, Cash and Stormrider looked forward to what the new day would bring. The aftermath of the battle brought significant changes to Sararin. Cass found himself elevated from potential recruit to strategic advisor, his military expertise now crucial to strengthening planetary defenses. The sisters integrated him into their inner circle, each relationship developing uniquely. With Kita, it was intense training sessions where they pushed each other's limits. Her bioelectric abilities proved compatible with his enhanced neural system, creating unexpected synergies during combat exercises. They developed a fierce, competitive friendship, constantly challenging each other to improve. You're holding back, Kita accused during one sparring match, electricity dancing across her skin. So are you, Cass countered, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to match her supernatural speed. Selena drew him into her research, fascinated by the neural enhancer's integration with his biology. Their late-night laboratory sessions often turned philosophical as they discussed the nature of humanity and technology. Your enhancement represents the next step in human evolution, she theorized, adjusting monitoring equipment. Voluntary augmentation rather than genetic manipulation. At what cost? Cass wondered. I nearly died activating it. That's why we must understand it better, to make it safer for others. Avena's connection ran deepest. As military preparations intensified, she provided emotional anchoring, helping him process years of buried trauma. Their evening walks through the moonlit gardens became a sanctuary. You've been running so long, you've forgotten how to stand still, she observed one night. Standing still feels dangerous, he admitted. Not anymore. You have us now. 3 months passed in this new rhythm. The sisters' distinct personalities had seemed at odds initially, but Cass recognized their harmony. Kita's passion drove action, Selena's intellect guided strategy, and Avena's wisdom provided balance. He found himself completing their dynamic, his military experience bridging gaps between their approaches. Warning came during a routine patrol. Deep space sensors detected anomalous energy signatures, not a direct threat, but concerning patterns suggesting reconnaissance. They're mapping our defenses, Cass warned during an emergency council meeting. For what purpose? Asked Lord Commander Thane, an elderly warrior who'd initially opposed Cass's rapid integration. Standard pre-invasion protocol. They're planning something bigger. Selena's projections confirmed his suspicions. Energy patterns match theoretical wormhole calculations. They could be attempting to open a stable gateway. How long? Avena asked. 2 weeks, maybe less. The news galvanized Sararin. Citizens who'd grown complacent under the Astrana's protection remembered their world's harsh realities. Training intensified, reserves activated, and ancient defensive systems came online. Cass proposed a daring strategy. We can't wait for them to establish a beachhead. We need to disrupt their operation at the source. A preemptive strike? Kita's eyes lit up. I like it. It's incredibly risky, Selena cautioned. We'd be venturing into unknown territory with limited intelligence. Avena considered both perspectives. What would you need? A small team, fast ships, and access to your most advanced technology. The mission launched 5 days later. Cass led a strike force of elite pilots, enhanced by Selena's experimental shield modifications and Kita's bioelectric weapon systems. Avena provided tactical command from Sararin. Jumping through hyperspace, they emerged at coordinates where the energy signatures originated. The sight stole their breath. A massive structure, part space station, part alien technology, pulsed with otherworldly energy. Smaller ships swarmed around it like insects. "That's no reconnaissance outpost," Cass muttered. "It's an invasion staging ground." The battle erupted instantly. Enemy fighters engaged while the station's weapons tracked the strike force. Cass's enhanced abilities pushed to their limits, coordinating the assault while piloting through intense fire. "Focus on the power cores," he ordered, marking targets. "Those structures there." His team executed flawlessly, trained to trust his enhanced perception. Explosions rippled across the station's surface as precision strikes found vulnerable points. But something felt wrong. It was too easy. "Pull back," he commanded suddenly. "It's a trap." Hidden weapon platforms activated, catching two fighters in crossfire. The station's central spire opened like a flower, revealing a massive energy cannon charging for a shot that could destroy Sararin from light years away. "We need to take that cannon out now." Kita's voice crackled over comms. She'd insisted on joining despite her sister's protests. Cass's mind raced through options. Conventional attacks wouldn't penetrate the cannon's shielding in time. He needed something unexpected, something impossible. "I have an idea," he said grimly. "But you're not going to like it." "Cass, no." Selena's voice cut in from Sararin. She'd already calculated his plan. "There's no time for alternatives." He transferred command to his second. "Get everyone clear." "That's an order." Pushing his fighter's engines beyond safety limits, he dove straight at the cannon. His enhanced reflexes let him weave through defensive fire while calculating precise impact angles. At the last second, he triggered every weapon system simultaneously and ejected. The explosion was cataclysmic. His fighter, transformed into a makeshift missile, struck the cannon's charging chamber. Chain reactions cascaded through the station's power grid. As emergency systems engaged his suit's retrieval beacon, Cass watched the invasion platform tear itself apart. Recovery took weeks. The neural strain of his maneuver had pushed his enhancement beyond tested limits. The sisters maintained constant vigil, their combined efforts once again pulling him back from the brink. "You have to stop almost dying," Kita complained, pacing his recovery room. "It's becoming a bad habit." "The data we gathered is invaluable," Selena added, studying readings. "But please don't provide more samples." Avena simply held his hand. "We thought we'd lost you." "Takes more than that to get rid of me," he managed weakly. The victory celebration, delayed until his recovery, filled Sararin streets. Citizens hailed their defender, but Cass directed praise to his team and the sisters whose leadership made success possible. Standing before the assembled population, Avena made a proclamation. "Today we honor not just a warrior, but a guardian, someone who came to us as a stranger and became family, who proved that strength lies not in power alone, but in the courage to use it for others." Kita stepped forward. "The trials tested your body, mind, and heart, but your actions tested something greater, your spirit, and you passed beyond all measure." Selena concluded, "Therefore, we offer you not just citizenship, but partnership. Stand with us as equal, as family." The crowd roared approval. Cass looked at each sister, seeing his own emotions reflected: respect from Kita, fascination from Selena, and something deeper from Avena. He'd found more than a new home. He'd found purpose. "I accept," he declared, "for as long as you'll have me." Later, in private chambers, the full meaning of their offer became clear. The sisters explained their dynasty's tradition. Leadership shared between those proven worthy, regardless of blood relation. They invited him to join their circle completely. "The four of us, together," Avena explained, "defending Nerilos and expanding our influence among the stars." "You've earned this," Kita added firmly. Selena nodded. "Our combined abilities could revolutionize defensive technology across known space." Cass felt overwhelmed by the magnitude of their trust. I'm honored, truly, but I need you to understand. I'm not the same man who crashed in your desert. That soldier died with his betrayal. What I am now is exactly what we need, Avena finished. Someone who knows loss but chooses hope, who understands power but values wisdom, who came seeking escape but found belonging. Their words struck deep truth. He had been reborn through trials, not just the formal ones, but every challenge since arriving on Narrowlows. The sisters hadn't just tested him. They'd helped him forge a new identity from the ashes of his past. Then yes, he said finally, to whatever future we build together. The ceremony binding them took place at sunset, combining ancient traditions with modern sensibilities. As four became one leadership unit, Cass felt the last walls around his heart crumble. He'd stopped running not because he was tired, but because he'd found something worth standing still for. Years later, historians would mark this moment as the beginning of a new era for Narrowlows. The partnership between Cass and the Astranis sisters sparked innovations that spread across star systems. Their combined strengths created a template for integrated defense networks adopted by countless worlds. But for Cass, the true victory was personal. He'd arrived broken and alone, seeking escape. Instead, he found healing and family. The trials had indeed tested whether he was too weak for them. In proving them wrong, he discovered strength he never knew he possessed. As night fell over Sararin, the four stood together on the Citadel's highest balcony. Stars wheeled overhead, each point of light representing possibility. Cass looked at his partners. Fierce Kita, brilliant Selena, wise Avena, and knew he was exactly where he belonged. Ready for tomorrow's challenges? Avena asked, taking his hand. With you three? Cass smiled. Always. The twin suns would rise again, bringing new trials and adventures. But whatever the universe held, they would face it together. Four hearts for minds, united in purpose and strengthened by the bonds forged through trial, battle, and trust. In finding each other, they'd found themselves. And in proving himself worthy, Cass had gained more than acceptance. He'd gained a future worth fighting for.